r/datingoverforty. Renee Sanguine says, they do always come back, and it, s you up. So I dated a guy for a few months. Things were hot and heavy, and it seemed we had a lot of compatibility. Things just felt easy when we were together, and we were asking each other pretty serious questions about previous relationships, our goals for the future, etc. I had sensed things cooling off a bit, but wasn't super certain, because we both had work and personal travel, so weren't connecting as much, but still seeing each other somewhat regularly. He went on a trip and we communicated regularly the entire time. I was supposed to come over to his place to have dinner the next day. The morning of, he drops me a long text about how he needs to be intentional. I have said I don't want kids. I told him I absolutely would want kids with the right partner, but he said he still needed to end this. Okay. I didn't argue. We wished each other the best, all via text, and I deleted his number. I was truly heartbroken, thinking of a future with this man, but I will never beg for a place in a person's life. 3 weeks later, he messages me, he's having a hard time looking at my photos without jacking off. I shouldn't have engaged, but I did. We ended up sleeping together again, then he goes off on a couple of trips. I don't hear from him for a month. I deleted him from my Instagram and stopped following him. He then sends me a message and I kind of tell him off. Tell him it was a mistake to sleep with him. I'm not here to be his buddy or backup option. He gets offended and says that's not what he wants. So we kind of argue. He says he'll leave me alone. Then we end up kind of making up. My divorce got finalized. I reached out to him asking if he wanted to have sex, and he came over again. Last week we were chatting again. He's going on a trip later in the week. We ended up having phone sex early in the week, and I was being pretty flirtatious/sassy with him. I had been calling him pal and texts and that seemed to bother him, so I said to him, I'll call you what I want, and you'll like it. He'd also said something about how he owes me and I said, well, you always owe me. We had talked about having real sex that week. He said he definitely wanted to, but after the phone sex, I didn't hear from him again. So I'm just I'm confused and torn up about this guy. He seemed like a really good guy when we were dating, and we had a lot of alignment. He broke up with me so suddenly and shockingly I just assumed he matched with someone else. And maybe he did and went ahead and dated her for a while, and that didn't pan out, so now he's circling back to me. I'm having trouble believing he's an asshole despite all the evidence. He was absolutely obsessed with me sexually when we dated. Said I was absolutely perfect, amazing in bed. He loved my entire body, especially my p/SSY. My opinion on him? The best part of having sex with him was how much he enjoyed it in me. He's not as good in bed as he thinks he is, but I still really enjoyed sex with him, and we have great chemistry. So anyway, I was actually wanting to ask him if he wanted to be in a FWB, but I'm kind of hurt he never followed up after our phone sex. It made me feel used. I know the ultimate answer here is he's probably just using me. I'm not at all a priority to him, I guess. I wish he had never come back. His actions since have shown me he's not this great intentional guy that I put up on a pedestal, but I'm having a hard time letting him go. I cried a lot this week because I felt even more rejected by a man who already rejected me, and shame because I'm putting myself through this. I should just block him, but I can't. I do know I'm not going to initiate any contact with him, and maybe he's over it too. The whole situation has just made me feel very sad and feel like shit. I'm purposefully not dating right now because I know it's not good for me given my vulnerable state, leaving my cheating husband and just trying to process that trauma, and I know this situation is not good for me. I know exactly what I would tell a friend to do in this situation, but for some reason I'm having a hard time sticking to my guns and not engaging. I guess I just so deeply miss companionship, and it felt good being with someone who adored me. Ugh. Kudos to anyone who read through this, and any thoughts or encouragement or even just telling me to get my shit together would be appreciated. Investigator Boring says, honestly I didn't finish when you got into the FWB section. You're part of the problem. You know he's not serious and you keep engaging and then feeling hurt. Block his number, any socials, etc. Or keep doing what you're doing and feel like shit. But either way, take accountability for your own participation in this. Renee Sanguine says, yes, I'm the problem. I know this. I'm choosing to be in a situation that's hurting me over and over. The misery it's causing me is not worth it. I need to block him and be done with this chapter. Investigator Boring says, also remember this guy doesn't adore you. I saw that above as a last line. He doesn't even respect you. Not trying to be mean, but I think if you face reality, you'll feel better about removing yourself from this situation. I've come to find shitty behavior a major turn-off, and it's helped me a ton. EmbarrassBid2966 says, he's playing mind games and using you for sex. Block him. Jen in Miami says, TBH I stopped reading after you slept with him a few times after he broke up with you. Just stop, eyeing him. He keeps coming back because you keep, eyeing him. If you let someone use you for sex, they are going to. Paris and Delight says, you need to stick to your own policy. You need to block him once and for all. Unfortunately he is doing the one thing you asked him not to do, and that is to treat you like a backup plan. I'm sorry, but he is not going to change. We all have interacted with or chatted with someone like him to some capacity, and people like him don't change. They won't wake up one day and have an epiphany and realize how valuable and unique you are. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, he won't ever learn to respect me, but I can respect me. And block his number. I recommend going through some posts and finding the ones where people finally have managed to crack the code. And find a loving partner. You never read in their post how one partner was flaky or seemed unavailable. No one talks of ghosting or breadcrumbing. Rather, there is a clear line of communication between both parties and both talk to each other the same amount voluntarily. No games, no drama. Also the technology, apps, phones and COVID-19 provided a perfect environment for a lot of married people to cheat. Many are still partly remote at least for a day or two and can use that to go on a date and make themselves look single. I just want to say that be careful and let him go. He is never going to change. Sending you love and hug. Be strong Opus. It only hurts for a few days. Then you will be good as. Alone Albatross 6694 says, I don't understand why everyone so far is trashing this dude and saying he's using you when you responded and agreed to his offers and want to make an offer of your own. You're both in on it. You don't appear to be an unwilling participant. It seems to be primarily about sex for both of you at this point. The confusion seems to come from no one behaving in an intentional way. r/datingoverforty. Proper Punny 8 says, how to be a more appealing girlfriend boyfriend over 40. Can we share glow up tips and ideas for how to be a more appealing date girlfriend boyfriend over 40? Dating is so hard. What have you done or recommend based on your experiences to improve your odds of love? Kakopoli says, being genuinely yourself so the other person is truly attracted to you and not some character being played. Being vulnerable and honest so they can feel comfortable being so themselves. Admitting when you are trying something you'd normally not do because you are interested in them makes you willing to go outside of your comfort zone. Scheduling things. Being good to yourself. Iceneen says, exercise more. Okay, so fit people are hot, that's true. But that's only half the reason. The other half is that you will feel hot after you've put in the effort for a couple of months. Even if you don't lose that much weight or get very toned, you will feel much better about yourself, and feeling sexy is its own reward. Stakandroning from 2 says, go to therapy, go to your other doctor appointments, take care of yourself physically, not just looks wise, but your actual health. Talk to the person you're dating, share your feelings, reach out to someone. If you like them, tell them you like them, be vulnerable, don't play dumb games about how many days should I wait to text / call / etc. Have fun hobbies and things you do on your own. Blackhand says, take care of yourself. Eat well, more plants, less processed food, cook at home, move your body, invest in basic grooming, reflect and address your issues, therapy, get your finances in order, have a rich life with friends and hobbies / passions / pastimes. You don't need to have a perfect body, look 25, be a millionaire, or go to the gym every day. However, having your shit together at a very basic level is attractive in the post-40 dating world. Vivid Surprise 1353 says, communication is key. Nobody can read minds, and it's dumb to make assumptions about how / what the other person is thinking. So now that I'm back to dating, I 50 male, and my girlfriend 50 female, have both agreed to say what's on our minds, bring up the things we are thinking about and worrying about. Break the past habits of burying our feelings, desires, and concerns, and instead we are talking them through, and listening, and respecting each other's feelings. And it's amazing. I was so used to being gaslit, or getting thrown off topic by my ex deflecting from the original topic. Oh, you're mad at me for this? Well, what about the time that you did this? That I totally got into the habit of either becoming defensive and argumentative, or just not saying anything, and shutting down. When you communicate well, you're vulnerable, they're vulnerable, and when you trust each other with that vulnerability, it's incredible. I feel like I finally understand how a grown-up relationship should work at 50. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.